Hello, Narnach here. Welcome to Path of Exile Incursion League. 3.3 is the patch and a lot of things have changed. Traps have received a lot of changes. Vaal skills have received quite an update and a lot of skills have been rebalanced. On top of that, League mechanic will have us time traveling back to the past. Having all kinds of fun messing with the construction of a Vaal temple. And after we've messed enough with it, we are gonna see what the results are of our own attempt at influencing the architecture. And of course we're gonna loot the entire thing. So, find ourselves here in the Twilight Strand, as usual. Just simply going through here, killing way too many mobs. But that is fun. So this build will be a trapper. No real surprises there, I hope. So let's actually just double check. Did I set up my loot filter back to leveling? No, that's always helpful to set up a loot filter. Previous character had one that I customized for it. I archived that, so of course the game defaults to just show me all the items. So I'm gonna play a trapper. Fun thing is I've never really seriously played a trapper before, so there's gonna be a lot of learning opportunities. And just to make it really interesting, I've upped the ante a little bit and I'm playing solo self-found hardcore because I do enjoy that gaming mode the most, even though I could argue it might not be the wisest thing to do when figuring out how to play a character, but well, it's good motivation, right? Anything in here? Well, we'll just get rid of things, see what we get in terms of rewards. So I already took the liberty of just setting up most of the empty access. So that's why I started with a very shiny looking dagger. No, I'm not cheating. No, I'm not getting in all kinds of shiny items. It is just empty access. So what do we get? A freezing pulse, an explosive trap, lightning tendrils, ethereal knives and frostblades. Well, this one says trap, so I got 2 tickets. And then we just get rid of these things. So already got a body armor here. So let's put the explosive trap in there. And I'm gonna take it very seriously. So I'm just gonna start out with only traps. Splinter tower shield is not what I'd like to use. I will be using a shield. And it's going to be the first time ever when I'm actually going to be using one of these lovely little evasion shields. They give you movement speed. And I figured for a trapper that could be a very useful thing. I mean, the traps are going to do the damage, so I don't have to be physically near enemies. In fact, I don't want to be physically near enemies, because enemies are scary. They do damage and they try to murder you. Just not fun at all. So we'll be going life plus evasion. Let's actually put this one on movement. Oh, that's a new thing. So go be life plus evasion, and then there's gonna be the usual acrobatics thing that really synergizes with that. The gear is gonna be a mix of evasion gear and some evasion energy shield gear, because traps really are an energy shield evasion thing. So I'll be hybridizing that a little bit. So there's going to be a small amount of energy shield protecting my life, but it's mostly going to be life protected by a high chance of just not getting hit by things. Okay. That works pretty well. Traps without cooldown. I like it. I approve of it. I very much approve of it. Okay, it's a bit of a mana hook. Haha, killed you. Looks cool. So the explosive one, it's a physical base trap. Throws a trap that creates a large explosion when triggered, dealing spell damage in an area. Number of smaller explosions occur around the area in quick succession after the first. So it's physical damage that gets converted to fire 50%. And we can have up to 15 of these buggers up at a time. That seems pretty cool. But yeah, mana is gonna be a thing. I'm banking on siphoning trap, which we will unlock at level 10 to be the main sustain mechanic for this build, both for life and for mana. Until then, we'll just have to make do, I fear. Let's put on a hat. It's not a great hat, but it is the first hat we found. Yeah, right now, no movement speed is not the greatest in the world. I figured if we get some boots with decent movement speed and then also have a shield with up to 9% increased movement speed, as well as getting some movement speed from the skill tree, then should be possible to get over 40% movement speed. At which point I suspect it's going to be a lot easier to just stay out of range of melee attackers. Then on the skill tree, there's all the way at the bottom here, there's this lovely thing called arrow dancing. It's more a chance to evade projectiles, less a chance to evade melee attacks. But if you got a high evasion chance, then that's gonna get you a 90% chance to just not get hit by projectiles. And for melee, it's still gonna be 40%, backed up by 40% chance to dodge melee attacks, backed up by I think 25% chance to block. But by acrobatic, that's going to get reduced, so it's going to be 17 or 18%. But I think in that way, there's a lot of layers that will stand between me and things attempting to murder me. I must say, traps without cooldowns, pretty darn nifty. I mean, so far, every once in a while, if I place something on the right-hand side of the tree, well, usually in a shadow, you get some traps at the start. I pick them up for a very short while, but never really go too far with it. So first goal is going to be trickery, then get some blood siphon, get a bit of life, and then just work our way over to cold-hearted calculation, and then to expeditious munitions, and then you got quite some value in terms of boosting the damage. And after that, I'm just gonna scramble like mad in order to see if I can get some more defenses. Okay, actually already have one of these. This is more synergistic. This one has 3 sockets where the other one has only 2. Speaking of more synergistic, is this decent? It's a bit of life regen. Early on, I value life regen very highly, since it means in between fights oftentimes you will just recover yourself, so you need to rely a little bit less on it. And the energy shield, it is very helpful. So traps have a little bit of a cooldown time before they do their thing. Not quite sure if that's been lowered or not, or if it's just still the same old, same old. I think early on it might be helpful to pick up a clarity gem as well, just to get a little bit of my mana regen while I'm not reserving my mana for anything else. Okay, so 1 waypoint. There's not really a lot of interesting stuff here just yet. Tempting. I want to go with daggers eventually for the crit chance. I think early on be boosting the damage better. Actually no, the crit on average balances out to be a stronger source of damage than the wand. But early on really doesn't matter too much. So my current thinking, everything about this build is basically up for change if I find something that could be improved or something I don't like. But my current plan or intention is to go with arc traps. So we'll get trap support, we'll get arc, and then that's going to be the basis of my primary damage link. So that means there's going to be a lot of lightning damage. Trap of arc has increased chance to shock, if I remember correctly. So that's going to be helpful. Enemies will often be shocked. Fun thing about arc after it has been changed in this expansion or this patch is that the arc, it changed from one target to another. That's a lot of you. It changed from one target to another. But if you hit an enemy, the damage will be increased with a more multiplier based on the number of targets remaining. So the first target is gonna get hit by, I think, 5 times 15% more damage, so that's 75% more damage. It's just pretty decent. So explosive traps versus someone that's using Arctic armor. Not the best since it's both physical and fire, and that's the one thing that it is really good at resisting. On the other hand, Arctic armor doesn't resist while moving, so if he walks into my traps, he's gonna get hit for full damage. Lovely little edge case there. Anything in here that is potentially helpful? Nope. Usually I like claws, but claws are very helpful with attacks. Not really that much with traps, which are effectively spells. And these are not the kind of bases I'd like to have, so I'll ignore them. And just because I'm expecting to walk into the new league mechanic in the, I always forget the place, the swampy place there. Just gonna take a little bit of time here to do some extra murdering, get some extra XP on me. Spirit shields, that would be some energy shields. Right, once we're back in town, let's have a quick look for some life rings. They will help with survivability. Wool gloves, haha, I don't have any gloves yet, and these give a little bit of energy shield. So, with my build planning on having a decent amount of movement speed by itself, I'm not gonna use whirling blades. Originally I wanted to use whirling blades with fortify, now figuring it will give me another source of damage mitigation. But the thing about that is that you only get the damage mitigation after you have whirled through enemies. So the interaction pattern there that you are going to be naturally drawn to is to whirl into or through enemies. Whereas I'd prefer to really stay at range rather than getting close enough to enemies so that I could whirl into them. So for that reason I'm not picking up whirling blades. Instead I will be going with a flame dash without really any support, and I'm just going to rely on my good old feet to walk around and step out of the way of things. And if I don't need to make teleports or move through groups of enemies, then I can just use flame dash. And that was superior. Right. Let's have a quick look. Ooh, I picked up a shield, so now I can actually have a look at the shield empty access. And there was one that is a little bit sparkly as well. Yes, so going with mostly a lightning theme, arcane lightning. But I figure, oh, the helmet that goes with it's with horns, and I don't really like the horns. I think they're a little bit too cheesy. So there was the dark helmet. No, pitch black hood. It kind of fits. It's a shadow. That's a bit of an ominous character. Works kind of well. So Quicksilver is the missing piece, and we got something else. Anything in here? Mirage Archer. I still have to do a build at some point that uses it, but Archer's not totally my thing. But Mirage Archer is kind of fun. Spellcascade. I don't think there's anything in here that really works for me. That's a little sad. Yeah, that's quite sad actually. Let's pick Prolov. I think that's the closest to something that could potentially be seen as helpful, maybe. So Lesser Poison is what we picked up. I don't think any of the other things here are actually going to be helpful. I see we got Explosive Trap. And that's it. So this is the same old list as we got. Sometimes you get extra options, like for example here, Phantasm on Kill. Supports skills that can hit enemies. Fake traps can hit enemies. You know what? I'm just goofing around a little bit. I'd like to see, can I summon phantasms with that lovely little thing? Also, that one has some quality. I think I'll just hang on to it and just sell it later. In case I want to have some links set up. I'll figure this out a bit later. Oh, I think I was talking about life rings, wasn't I? Yep. And then I need more ID scrolls. Yep. You know what? We'll just sell one portal scroll. That gets me an ID scroll. And then I can at least buy one life ring. Oh, man. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Prolife, increase a chance to ignite, which would spread. It's only a 10% mana modifier, so I think we could actually just move it over. Just have a jolly good time with one ratcheted up trap. Okay. Actually, that's one scroll, that's one scroll. Just really microing this a little bit too much maybe. But I got the life now, which is quite helpful early on. I mean, effectively I'm nearly doubling my life here. Yeah, Tarkly is now gonna send me onwards. So let's have a chat with Alva Vaal. Last time we encountered Einar in the mudflats, so suspecting we're gonna encounter the lady. Areas contain temple incursions. See. Aha! I have myself some phantasms. Phantasms are actually pretty decent distractions here. Could I have stumbled upon some kind of really obscure hipster build? Maybe I have. Yeah, also we're kind of done with the whole tutorial area thing. So this is the time to just crank up the dialogue volume a little bit.
Just in time.
Hello there, Alva Vaal. Are you gonna send me back in time? Okay.
Thank the gods. You're no saint. I can see that. Though, who am I to question what form divine providence comes in? I am the great Alva Vaal, reliquarian extraordinaire, seeker of mysteries, explorer of the unknown, lover of all things that glitter. And I need your help. The lost temple of Atzoatl. Halls lined with finery, boxes stuffed with glimmering riches and relics, touched by insurmountable power. For eons, lost to history. Until now. I found a way to blaze a trail to that forgotten temple. A spell triggered by the blood of the Vaal. I've got some in me, you see. This spell will take you into days past. Once there, keep the portal open by slitting a few deserving throats. The longer you stay, the more I learn about the location of the present-day temple. Once we find it, we'll have all the time in the world to collect its many treasures. That's why we need to find the temple in the here and now. Be careful what you do while you're there, however. Any move you make ripples through time, changing things in this day and age. Well, what are you waiting for? Go make history.
Okay, fun times. So, gonna go back into the temple. The corruption chamber is the one that we're gonna go into. And we can see that the connection to the pits, that is that's this one. That one is already unlocked. The chasm is all unlocked via the cloister and the tombs, so technically there's no need to open up the chasm door. Similarly, the tombs and the cloister. No, this one, they are all effectively already unlocked via the entrance, so they are of a lower priority. I mean, it could be convenient later on once we actually go into the temple. But for now, I think the guardhouse is going to be the top priority, so that's going to be the bottom left of the map. And there's going to be two different architects to take out. So it's either going to be Pakwate or Atmohua. Oh man, I'm going to butcher all these names. So you can click them? No, you can't click them. Okay. So if you, Pakwate, if we kill this one, then it becomes an armorer's workshop. If we kill the other one, Atmohua, then we upgrade this one to a catalyst of corruption. Reduces player maximum resistances throughout the temple. Because that's what it already does. Early on, our resistances aren't going to be maxed, so having one that reduces max resists shouldn't be too onerous. So I think we could actually go for Atmohua. Though that's going to be in the top and we need to head to the bottom for the guard door, so that's going to be interesting. So it might be that we actually end up killing the thing. Okay, so bottom left, try to kill Atmo. But if we kill the other one, then that is not bad either.
Let's go.
Let's see if this is not a horrible mistake of going in this early. Oh, look, Superior Life. That could be very helpful. Question is, we'll just see. If you go through here, is it going to be a new area with recharged flasks, or am I going to remain with that one? Okay. It's a level 4 area. Okay, there is a door here. Oh, need a key for that. That's gonna be glorious. Stone of Passage. I think that's what they call a key. Marvelous. Doors open.
With every death, I live a little bit more.
Okay, so Pakate is the one that we're gonna kill, and this becomes an armorer's workshop instead. Oh no, wait. We actually kept it alive. That was interesting. Fun. Gained a level. And items dropped from the things we killed. Yeah, and there's not a lot of stuff. Well,
greetings.
View the temple. So this is the current state. We opened up the door. So main advance of this, we opened up the door. So now we have access to the guardhouse here. Increases monster pack size throughout the temple. I wonder if they are already all active, even if they are not connected. Let's assume it is. So one of the main goals is going to be to at least find one that opens up the door to the apex. So if we can get access to either the hatchery or the workshop, and then open up a door to the apex, then at least we can find fight the end boss. Everything else is just going to be a bonus. So with that said, let's start moving on ahead. And get ourselves to next areas. I mean, right now we're using the explosive trap. That's not entirely the plan. It's fine, it works. But of course, arc traps is what I really want to play with. Also, I didn't get killed in the incursion. That's a small victory. definitely learned that mana management is gonna be a important thing. I mentioned it before, but this was a pretty good confirmation of that. Ooh, slow lumbering zombies. Those are fun to throw traps at since they don't really have a chance. Oh, they cluster. Just drop traps at feet. So fun thing, of course, the phantasms early on, they're helpful. Keep in mind, I'm not synergizing minions in any way. So they're gonna run out of steam relatively quick. But this early, they're a nice way of off-tanking. And I don't think I can get access to a decoy totem as a shadow, since decoy totem is a strength thing. But eventually I do want to have decoy totems in my build. So this is kind of bridges that gap. Well, one decoy totem is going to be enough, of course. Okay, let's just upgrade my flasks a little bit. And we need to be up there, since we do have all the seashells. Movement without movement speed boots or quicksilver flasks that have charges is a little on the sluggish side. That's always the downside of early on. It's really like just plodding forward really slowly. You do appreciate your movement speed boots upgrades, that's for sure. Let's see, what do we get? Bear trap, that's endgame material, or at least part of the build. Everything else is not, so that's good. So bear trap, it has also been overhauled. Throws a trap that damages and immobilizes a single enemy. That's what it already did. For a duration based on how much damage was dealt. I think that is different. After the immobilize expires, a debuff remains on the enemy for a duration, lowering their movement speed by an amount, which lessens over time. So they start at 80% and that is get less. So it's not instantly that it wears off and they zoom away. They'll actually need some time to get going again. Affected enemy will take increased damage from traps and mines until the debuff expires. And that is a new thing, and that is why I think every trapper is gonna want to have this in their build. Because 15% increased damage taken, effectively that is a 15% more damage multiplier. Okay. Is there maybe a dagger with linked sockets? Don't think so. Okay, grabbing the wand from my stash might not be a bad idea. Any of the boots that come with movement speed, that would also be very lovely. And no, they don't either. Okay. All fine, all fine. So we can ID this one and oh, rare. That's sure, but there's no sockets. On the other hand, do I really need proliv? No, I don't. So I can actually keep these. Just updating my thought process here in real time. And we can get rid of that one. So flip those around, and then we have the explosive strap, and we have the phantasms. And oh, fun thing, we can attach the bed trap to this as well. And let's just double check. I want to have the bed trap over here. Main trap's going to be over there, so for now that's going to be explosive thing. And I want movement on here. So that's going to be fine, and this is going to go into the stash, and then the other one can get rid of.
Stay sharp out there.
Wait, scrolls. Let's keep those. They're pretty helpful. Yes, sir. Anything else that you're offering now? Conversion trap. It's a trap. It's kind of fun. Might be helpful when dealing with nasty situations. Fast bomb. Nope. Okay.
While we live, we are blessed.
I mentioned the wands. But we can put that one in there. Put that one here. And I see I've been playing for half an hour. Let's call this a quick break. So I'm gonna thank you very much for watching. Next episode, I'm gonna continue. Hopefully just, I think next episode we should be able to get to the prison. And then get to the point, or prison, maybe Vaal, get to the point where we can get more of the new traps online and play around with those, because that's the thing that I'm really looking forward to, just to see what they play like. And of course, there are gonna be more incursions, and after the new and shininess of that wears off, it's gonna be faster to run them as well, because it looks like within half a minute to a minute you can have done them if you're not reading all the things and analyzing all the things. But that's gonna be for next episode. For now, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching and hope to see you again next episode. Bye bye.